Hello, Caffeine Fiends, and welcome to another coffee review for www.getbean.com. I'm Vince, the Mean Bean Machine, and today we're at our old friends, Dark Arts Coffee. We're looking at their collab with Edwin, Forest Friends, which is coffee from Peru, kind of bourbon varietal. Has been washed and has been kind of fermented over a period of, oh, it does say on the box, fermented over a period of around 36 hours. So it's gone through a process that not a lot of coffees tend to. This coffee produces about 60 bags of exportable coffee a year. So this is quite an expensive and rare coffee. And as such, it came in at about £14.50. Now, I said it was a collab with Edwin. Now, I don't think, I don't know what the collab is. I presume the collab is just kind of this art, because it's a gorgeous box. But did I pay £14.50 just for the aesthetic of the coffee? Well, ask that question of a man who has dyed his hair pink. Would I ever do anything just for the aesthetic? I will be keeping the box. But also I'm a big fan of Dark Arts Coffee, as regular viewers, all 6 of you will know. And I do buy a lot of their stuff, so I was more than happy to. I'm not more than happy to pay extra. Let's not go overboard here. I'm tight-fisted, but I do pay extra because I've got this nice little box that I'll keep things in, and hopefully a decent coffee. So, as per usual, I've got my espresso shot, my oat latte, and my water to cleanse my palate in between. And because it's the summer season, I've tried to make a cold batch brew from it as well. As you can see, it's a little unique, but it's got this nice caramel-esque flavour. So let's hope for the best. Caramel-esque flavour, caramel-esque colour. So let's hope for the best with the flavour and see how it works out. So yeah, £14.50 for a bag of 250 grams. Like I say, this gorgeous box. I really like the artwork. It's kind of evocative of. It's got a kind of Japanese script on it, but it's evocative of, those kind of 1930s, Betty Boop kind of cartoons. I can't think of the animator's name. But gamers out there will know the kind of Cuphead vibe, the that sort of gorgeous kind of hand animated vibe. Anyway, with the looping arms, and anyway, I digress. So it's a nice box. It's called Forest Friends. It refers to that. So I presume it's just an art collab, but I am probably paying extra just for the pleasure of owning a nice box. But fine. So it's a Peruvian coffee. I've tried a few Peruvian coffees before. I do like Peru. I've been to Peru, so I like to buy Peruvian stuff and be like, oh yeah, I've been there. Because, I'm a self-glorifying, middle class. But the box says it's red apple acidity with toffee sweetness and floral notes. So I'm expecting a crispness, and then kind of a sweetness and a body that coats the tongue, and then maybe a slight kind of florally note right at the top of the tongue, maybe as an afterthought, as a aftertaste. We will see. So as the espresso, I'm expecting quite a crisp bite, and then kind of a rich caramelly oat latte maybe as the milk draws that out. As a cold brew, I don't know. Maybe more of the florality will come out. Hopefully, because I like a nice crisp cold brew. But we will see. So let me cleanse my palate with the water, and we will start with the espresso. Ooh, really nice kind of appley smell. It does have that kind of apple acidity straight off the bat. So maybe that will be the kind of prevailing flavour initially. Let's see. Not as biting as I expected, but yeah, there is a really nice crispness to it. which you don't find a lot in kind of espressos. It's almost like a candied apple, as the Yanks would say. What would you call it? A caramel apple. Toffee apple. Sorry, God. Yeah, so it's like a toffee apple. That sort of there is that crispness and then that kind of nice sugary coating almost, and it doesn't kind of coat the tongue too densely, but it slips down nicely. There's no kind of bite on either side of the cheeks. Smells great and it tastes that's real. The real apple flavour comes through, but yes, there's a sweet, almost sugar coating over the apple, which I really like about. Not a particularly like strong dark espresso, but I think espresso drinkers will like it. And I think non-espresso drinkers will like it because it's not too clunky and too kind of intense in your face, but it still has a nice crispness above, but without necessarily a kind of sharp bite to it. I really liked that as an espresso actually, which is yeah, nice, very nice. So let's again cleanse the palate. And try it as a latte. So I'm sort of expecting maybe more of the caramel to come forward as the latte. It's not, like I said, it's not as sharp as I thought it would, so as it would be. So it might not rise through particularly strongly through the milk. But if that caramelly kind of warmth spreads through it, that'll be really pleasant. Hopefully that sweetness will sit there. It's interesting. I didn't get a lot of kind of floral note, but there is a sort of a slight freshness. There's a fresh cut to it, so I understand why they'd refer to the floral note. But you know, like I said, more of that kind of sweet apple is what came through with the espresso. So it'll be interesting to see if I explore more floral notes throughout. So oat latte, here goes. Yeah, so that sweetness is cut quite back. What's interesting is it does have a caramelly taste, but it's not sugary sweet caramel. I think the floral probably really kind of cuts through here a bit more. Again, I wouldn't necessarily say it's floral. There's a kind of a freshness to it, which is really nice. It's kind of cut by this fresh, you know, flowery flavour. So yes, floral, but you'd say kind of, oh, that's sweet, but not sugary sweet. So it's nice. It's kind of a tempering of that typical kind of caramelly flavour. I like that a lot as an oat latte, but then I like rich kind of caramelly oat latte, and it's not that rich. It's not as rich as other kind of coffees that would say they're chocolatey or caramelly. And I think that's because of that floral note kind of cutting it. Interestingly, the fruity acidity doesn't come through too much. That's been cut right back. But as an oat latte, very nice. Almost like a less intense caramel. So I think that's for those that like kind of a sweet coffee, but enjoy maybe aspects of sweeter, chocolatey, caramelly coffees. But don't want it that sweet, and I think that kind of comes through nicely there. Very much enjoying that, very much so. Then we go to cleanse the palate. And try the cold brew. Now, this is a kind of done by like a Harry-O home kind of cold brew thing. So I will admit there are probably flaws with my cold brew method, but I've been cold brewing for a few years now, and sometimes they come out pretty alright. I would maybe expect it to be just slightly darker than that. That's probably quite watery, but you know, it's a nice kind of amber colour. Like I say, maybe I'd like a bit darker, but we'll see how it works as a cold brew. Ooh! Oh, wow, no, that fruitiness really comes through. That is really appley. Even as a cold brew, that apple sensation really comes to the fore. Really fruity, and you don't get so much of that kind of, there is a sweet acidity. There is a kind of crisp apple ness to it. But again, not a lot of bite. I think the floral then just sits right at the front of the tongue there. Oh wow, that is a really nice cold brew. I've done. I enjoyed that batch. I think I'm going to enjoy this batch very much. So yeah, the toffee sweetness. It's not caramel toffee, much of a muchness. Yeah, so the toffee apple kind of comes through really when it's black. The espresso definitely had that apple, that sweet apple, you know, the toffee appleness essence to it. The cold brew brings out more of the fruitiness, but it's a sweet fruitiness with a light kind of floral top note, and then more kind of toffee caramelly tones with the oat latte, as you'd expect. So yeah, really pleasant actually. I'm going to go away, write my thoughts up about that. In the meantime, do hit those like and subscribe buttons. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok, as well as YouTube, and at www.getbeamed.com. See you in a second. Final thoughts. I've gone straight in with 4 stars. It's a lovely coffee. $14.50 is perhaps a bit steep, but like I say, I think you're paying for the art kind of collab as well, and it is a sort of kind of, I'm not going to say rare coffee, but it's semi-rare at least. It's. I mean, what did it say? 60 bags. So yeah, it probably is quite a rare coffee. So really nice coffee. Sweet toffee apple essence without a sharp bite. That I was really surprised that there wasn't kind of an acidic kind of clamping of the cheeks, as it were, or sharpness, real kind of pinpricks on the tongue. It just went down really smoothly, almost more like an apple juice than a sharp acidic something. Nice floral freshness that carries through the whole thing, but it doesn't temper the sweetness too much. It's just kind of a fresh top note. So the sweetness still kind of is what pushes it forward, but like I say, the acidity is obviously there, but doesn't clutch, doesn't bite. So really nice coffee, easily 4 stars. Thank you very much. Do check it out. Do hit those like and subscribe buttons. Check out www.getbeamed.com, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.